Leto as Skeletor is one of the things I'm the most apprehensive about.
Yeah.
Because if you made me produce a list of 100 actors who I think could take on Skeletor, I would really struggle to come up with 100 names. But I assure you, Jared Leto wouldn't be on that list. So I'm really, really curious how they're going to do this, because, I mean, he's such an amazing, serious, dramatic actor. But those very skills that makes him a very serious, dramatic actor also makes him completely wrong for Skeletor.
Now, is this a live action?
Yes.
Okay, but Frank Langella was Skeletor.
No, I
Yes.
thought it was Jack Palance. Am I wrong?
No,
you're wrong.
Langella.
Was Frank Langella.
Hey, yeah,
And-
that's right. Yeah.
And that was
Although Jack Palance could have been a great Skeletor back
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Frank Langella was a fantastic Skeletor.
Fucking chewed the scenery, yeah.
Oh, that was just an insanely fun thing for someone who thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity that normally you would never think would take the job.
And
Yeah.
look at it this way, like you look at that movie, the thing is, regardless of what you think about the movie, the cast is delivering. They're
absolutely.
all there giving their 110%. Frank Langella, most of all, that's probably why. Because you got Frank coming in here just blowing, open the doors of Skeletor. So everybody's like, shit, we got to crank our game up a little bit.
And
here.
Meg Foster as Evil Lynn. I
Yeah.
mean, like I've had the pleasure to meet Meg Foster. She's a lovely lady. She didn't have too many roles or lines in that movie, but just the way that she looked, her eyes, my God, the movie should have been about the two of them. And this is a cool thing about that movie, is that basically Frank Langella was the one actor where they basically had the script. And then the director said, "You're Frank Langella. You feel free to rewrite your lines. Oh, you want to have like 10 times as many lines? You want a monologue that goes on for 3 minutes rather than 20 seconds, as the script says? Okay, go for it." And that's how we got all of these scenes of him chewing the scenery. But that's what makes the movie good. I mean, it's Skeletor. He's the one that makes that whole movie work.
Sure. I mean, it was more Shakespearean than I think maybe they expected it to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fun when an actor that you didn't expect, you think, oh, they're slumming it, actually dives into it as if it's a wonderful, juicy steak, right? That's such an enjoyable thing to see.
Yeah, you could tell he was having fun.
Well, even what's his name, who did Ming the Merciless?
Max von Sydow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, was he having fun with that?
Yeah.
That's so good.
That is a similar, those are both in the same sort of milieu, right?
Yeah.
Both those movies.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can do that with this. I've never seen Jared Leto
he won't do
chew
that.
Scenery, right? And have
No, I mean, he did it. He kind of chewed the scenery the wrong way in
exactly, wrong way in Morbius.
I didn't see Morbius, but I saw him as Joker, right? I thought, okay,
that too, also the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's the wrong way. I think it's just the Jared Leto way, right? Obviously the wrong way for the role, sure. And that's why I don't know. I think that's why everyone has doubt, press X for doubt, if this is going to be any good, or at least be as good as the original.
The thing is with those roles, there's got to be a touch of gay, like just a little bit, and camping it up. And Leto can't camp it up.
Yeah, I think that's really it. He can't, or at least he's never shown that he can.
Yeah.
I will say, I thought that his performance as the Joker was mesmerizing in a sense, perhaps not the right sense, but I do think that it would have been interesting to see the rest of his performance. But that still does not fill me with confidence for what he is going to do with Skeletor. I mean, Skeletor, they're really, for those that know the lore, there is a lot to work with there. Skeletor is the most interesting character because he is the half brother of King Prince Adam's father. He's the half brother of Randor, and he's even the elder half brother. So he is the one who, in any sense, who really should be the heir to the throne. But he has a problem. He's a bastard son of the previous king. He's the bastard son of Mido. You can kind of like tell that his skin color ain't quite right, because basically he's half Gar. Gar are the blue people who are native to Eternia, and Keldor's mother obviously was the king's mistress. So he's an illegitimate child and a half-breed. So that gave him all of this angst and sense of entitlement and everything growing up, feeling that he lost out. Of course, this is retrospective stuff, like or retcons. It wasn't like that when he first appeared on the scene, but that was like added later on, and it kind of like just fills in the character, and that is canon now. That's what they used even in Masters of the Universe Revolution, where you had William Shatner voice Keldor, the human counterpart of Skeletor, which of course didn't work at all. You ask me. I mean, that's one thing where Shatner wasn't the right fit, but still, yeah, there's a lot to work with there, and I'm not confident that Jared Leto can pull it off.
Well, Mattel seems to be.
They seem to be. That is one of the stories that we have here today, because this is something that actually came from an interview in the Hollywood Reporter, I believe it was. From earlier in the week, where they spoke with Mattel Studios boss Robbie Brenner, who spoke about Masters of the Universe, Polly Pocket, Magic 8 Ball at some kind of event, MIPCON in Cannes. I'm not entirely sure about exactly what that is, but that is where she also said that she had seen the director's cut of Masters of the Universe, because that movie, it's done filming. It's not done with the effects, but they basically have the director's cut, which they are putting all the special effects work into. So there is a cut that you can see. She has seen it, and she was blown away by it. Now, of course, we have heard this before, like, for instance, Batman v Superman, that reportedly had a standing ovation among Warner executives at the time. That didn't translate to mainstream success, now did it? But still, I think it's funny timing that we learn of this now, that they are blown away by Masters of the Universe at the same time that Hollywood is calling out Jared Leto, and by implication, Masters of the Universe as next to flop, because it has Jared Leto. Tom, any thoughts on that? Anything you want to add?
Well, I mean, theatrically right now, Ares, as you pointed out, is not doing well. In fact, we have a video of Jared showing up at screening, I believe, the other day.
Yeah.
I said, are you ready? How you doing, San Francisco?
A crowd of tens.
You know, we have to come and say hello and say thank you so much for coming to very few people in the world have seen this movie. I'm telling you, you're some of the first, and thank you so much for being here tonight. This is Tron Ares. I hope you're in the right theater.
I hope you're in the right theater. You're afraid of losing a few more?
In the theater when I was just a kid. I was around 10 or 11.
Yeah, the rest is just him yapping. But yeah, so I just thought it was kind of funny that they brought him out. If I was Jared Leto, I'm like, I'm not going out there.
Yeah, I kind of like feel bad because that's like awkward, because obviously that's a recording from Thursday night or something.
Probably
like that.
Thursday
one
or Friday.
Of the first screenings in LA, in San Francisco, or in California, rather, in state of California, San Francisco. They were obviously expecting a packed screening, because really in California screenings should be packed, and it was 2/3 empty. And if anything, based on what I have seen, that screening was as full as it was going to get. So like for that, I just kind of like just feel bad for the studio, for Leto, for everything, for like having go in there trying to hype up an almost empty audience. I mean, it's just embarrassing for everyone.
I said,
Yeah, that was
"How you
rather
doing?"
embarrassing. Sorry, Polly, what were you saying?
I said, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
Look at the little trance he was trying to put on everybody.
He seems like a nice guy in that clip.
Well, you know, it's just a weirdo.
We're
What
all
are you gonna
weird.
do? Nice weirdo.
Well, the sad
Yeah,
part is
he
the
a
reaction.
weirdo.
Yeah, the reaction, because he doesn't have a very distinct voice. See, that's the first thing. I mean, he has a very distinct face, don't get me wrong, but he does not
This
have a
is
very
actually
distinct
true.
voice. And when he's sitting here going, is everybody ready? Or hello, everybody, whatever he said to begin with, and then nobody reacted, that's when he said, I said, is everybody ready? Or whatever. It's like, then he walks out finally, and still it's just to a smattering of claps. And then when people realize who he is, it still doesn't get any better. Right? Like, and that's where I said, like, if I was him, I wouldn't go out there. If I looked out and I seen there's only a theater that's a third full, I'm like, okay, guys, we're canceling this. I'm not going out there.
Yeah.
I will wait till a full screening because this is gonna wind up on X, and I'm gonna look like an asshole. Which
Yeah,
is
the
exactly
problem
what
is, yeah, as you said, like half the people in that screening don't know who he is, and the other half don't care.
happened. Right? Or if they are there for him, they were the only ones cheering, right? So yeah. And I mean, his 30 Seconds to Mars crowd, which is a lot of his cult following, right? Those kids are so old now that like they're not going to see fucking Tron. They're
not
care
going to see
about
Tron. No.
They
They'll
might
see
show up
something,
just to support him, but the numbers aren't there. And that's what Andre's video was about this morning. And I mean, let's get real here. It's kind of like with The Rock. Jared Leto is not a movie star.
No.
He's an actor. He's a great actor. He's a troubled actor, but he is not a movie star. And I mean, going back to the Suicide Squad, I mean, honestly, and this is where I think this is coming from. I think Hollywood's done with him. I think the studios are done dealing with him. They're fine dealing with him in like smaller capacity roles. Like Skeletor is probably his last shot at a studio picture for a while, I bet. I mean, yes, he's a bankable name, but he's more bankable to folks who are making shit like Dallas Buyers Club.
I hope he's not listening to us.
I don't care if he is fucking listening to us because I think he's a fucking creep.
I
I'll be
think
100% honest with you.
they if the movie was Tron Jeremy, then I think more people would have seen it.
Tron Jeremy.
I think a Tron Jeremy movie would probably do better in streaming
It all takes
on,
place in Ron Jeremy's penis.
or on the interwebs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm gonna pretend I don't get that reference.
Tron
Did you
Jeremy.
guys see the story yesterday at Screen Rant where they were, I don't know if it's cope or they're trying to prop up Keanu Reeves or Jared Leto over Keanu Reeves, but it was after the first full week of Tron Ares at theaters, it's now surpassed 2 Keanu Reeves science fiction movies. Now it ranked 253 or something. It was patently ridiculous.
What were the two movies? Constantine?
Well, it talked about Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, The Faculty, Ghost in the Shell, Alien versus Predator.
Keanu Reeves wasn't in Valerian.
No, it was Matrix Resurrections. It beat that.
Oh yeah.
And it beat Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, which came out 40 years ago?
1989.
89 and 99.
Yeah, and that's a
Yeah.
that's a VHS movie too.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it did
bet
okay
that-
at the box office, but yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys-
and the trick was not adjusting it for inflation.
That's part of the trick, sure. And just
Yeah.
it's like they're just reaching, they're grabbing
Oh,
for
totally.
something to say.
Well, Tron was a
Totally.
VHS movie too. It was a
Of
money
course.
loser in the theater.
Yeah, but Tron Legacy, and this is where we've brought it up before. A lot of people misremember Tron Legacy. They say, "Oh, it didn't do so well at the box office." Like, yeah, it did. Yeah,
They're
it
better
cost
than this
$100
one.
million. Yeah, and it cost the same amount, but back then, right? So yes, it was a little more expensive, but it also made almost $500 million.
Well, it also meant
Back
more
then.
people went to go see it. More
But the-
people.
Yeah,
Volume.
yeah. But the point I was getting to is Disney. They didn't cash in on when it was hot. They did the TV series and then they let it languish because they were more worried about Marvel and Star Wars at that point. They didn't need Tron because Tron
Exactly.
was when they were in their desperation mode, like they are again, trying to
Mhm.
get the boys back in. And they had Pirates of the Caribbean, Tron, and Lone Ranger, and
Yeah.
Pirates was the only one that hit until they had Marvel and Star Wars, and they just let Tron go. And Tron did well enough that I think that if they had kept going with it, it would have had a franchise there. They would have had a following. But now we're 2 generations removed from the original generation. And I said this last night. I said the problem with Tron is they're not easy movies to watch. People like the idea of Tron, but when you watch the movies, they're not exactly what you would do. So that's the problem with a lot of folks, is I think they like the idea of Tron and they have in their own mind what Tron is. But when you actually see the movies, you're kind of like, this isn't what I was expecting exactly, if that makes sense. Because that's one thing I've noticed with a lot of folks, especially with the last few Tron films when they came out. There's even people who didn't like Legacy because it wasn't so much like the first film.
Yeah.
Because the original fans were very big fans of the first film. And the first film is very, we're very aware of what that film is. And the second film is a completely different animal, although it's still set in the same world. It is almost like a complete reboot, right? Like almost a remake, reimagining, re-envisioning of this. Tron Ares is just a reimagining, re-envisioning of that, which is already, and here we are stagnant with it. It's like, who cares? We've already seen light cycles. We've already seen this shit 10 times over. You're not showing us anything new.
Well, that was my point. My point
you're
was
right. Innovation is out the window. It's not
my point was they didn't treat the movie with its at its core. It's a movie about video games, and if you don't progress a video game and conversely progress a movie that is adjacent to that video game in the same way that developers progress video games,
absolutely, yeah,
then they've lost what the whole idea of a video game is. So, I mean, Call of Duty, every iteration of it, you'd get new camo for your guns. I mean, there was a reason to buy it other than new stories and things like that. There's a tradition in games. So if you're a Helldivers 2, you've got new factions, you've got new weaponry, you've got buffed weaponry, you've got nerfed weaponry, you've got new planets to go to. And Tron clearly was not made by a video gamer because there wasn't enough of a upgrade beyond just Tron gets transferred over to the corporeal world. That was it. Okay, fine.
Yeah, you're right, because the first 2 movies were very much revolved around the games.
Right.
You're very right. And then and I haven't seen the new film yet. Andre has, but I'm assuming there's not much of the games in the movie.
No, there's no real
Nothing.
game in it. And so, I mean, no new weapons. You instead of having the frisbee, you now have a triangular frisbee, and that's pretty much it. Why do weapons in the real world work on these constructed weapons in the Tron weapons transferred over to the real world? How do they interact? Why would they work? There isn't even any Star Trek-y thing where they go, we better take a tachyon pulse to attack the thing. There's no science-y stuff in it that might explain why these objects from Tron are impervious to corporeal weapons, and then they have to figure out the way to deal with them to be able to bring them down to the ground. There's none of that kind of science fiction-y thinking that you would normally want in those movies. Now, obviously, the solutions always have to come from a busty woman with glasses in a white lab coat. If we only cross the beams, we might be able to take them down. See, that's the sci-fi tradition. Where's the busty scientists in lab coats? Then she takes off her glasses and then pulls her hair down and, Dr. Edwards, you're hot. Yeah, you have to be
Is this Tron Jeremy you're describing? I'm
this
sorry.
Is Tron,
okay.
This is Tron Jeremy. I'm not describing.
Can I just say I'm digging the heck out of Paulie's eye light?
It is good.
The sun's
at that.
coming up, man.
Classic.
Something from Bela Lugosi's Dracula or something. I'm digging it.
Yeah, it's
Very
it's
50s
literally the sun rising.
lighting.
It's
Yep.
literally the sun rising.
Slash.
Did you
That's
guys
funny. I
ever-
have the sun setting in my window soon here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Did you guys ever see? I mean, if you were a fan of Tron Legacy, there was, I think it was about a 10 or 15-minute long sequel made, right? Called Tron Legacy: The Next Day.
Yes, yeah. I actually haven't seen it. It was a bonus feature on the
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Yeah,
on the
Blu-ray
Blu-ray and
only.
DVD.
DVD you couldn't get it, but it was on the
Oh, okay, it was
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray exclusive then.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
now I think they've got it, but it's behind a paywall at Disney's website.
Oh
But
yeah,
you
of
can,
course.
I think
have
you
to
can watch it
recoup what you can.
online. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you can watch it online. I heard that was a fine little sequel to the to Legacy.
I love it when they do that. I mean, they did the same thing with like Alien Covenant, where you had like 3 prequels and 2 sequels in shorts only on the that weren't even on the disc, but that they were scattered around online.
Yes, I like it when there is sort of an expansion like that. I think that the Matrix did that with anime. I think
I was
Blade
just gonna
Runner.
say that was
Yeah.
the only decent thing they did.
I thought it was great. And I know that Blade Runner 2049 had some of the same like anime material that expanded on the story. Some was a
Yeah.
prequel, some was happening
I
elsewhere.
had like some both the sequels and prequels. I mean, one
Mhm.
of them even starred Dave Bautista, a prequel to the movie.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I think they should have done more of that with this. It kind of makes me think, though, that really Tron Legacy ended up being sort of a proto Legacy reboot that sort of did some things that were perfected by other projects later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like they were totally lost with this project. I know some people have said they liked it, and that's fine. Obviously, almost every big budget project finds some audience, no matter how it's executed. But I think it's unfortunate that Disney couldn't get their heads out of their own asses once again with something. It seems like now a live action Lilo and Stitch is the exception, not the rule, whereas it used to be quite the opposite with Disney. And that's,
Yeah.
I think, the most unfortunate part, because I don't want to see Disney fail. I mean,
No.
it angers me when they inject politics into projects inorganically. It just sort of like, or when they're trolling, or when they're blaming the failure of their movies on some sort of toxic audience or whatnot. It angers me to the point where I'm like, get your act together, you clowns. You've got these precious. It's just like with Amazon and the Tolkien stuff, the Rings of Power. It's just, you're embarrassed for them. And then when they don't change, or they're like saying, well, we're doing this intentionally, this just isn't for you, then you get angry, right? Because it's like, well, it is for me because I'm the one that wanted to see what you're doing. These other people
Right.
you're producing didn't want to see any of that.
Well,
Well, like Disney is just, they've really screwed themselves. I think it's permanent. I don't see what.
Well, and to swing it back around to Motu, or Masters of the Universe, for those who don't know what we're talking about when you say that, I think the problem with Motu is going to be that it's going to not going to be so much Jared Leto. I don't think Jared Leto is going to be good, right? Like, I think he's going to be part of the problem, but the bigger problem is going to be that this movie is going to be modeled after Barbie. I think that's going to be the bigger issue here.
Yep.
I'm stepping back and I'm looking at this, and it's basically Barbie in reverse, right? It's Adam starting off on Earth. He's going to feel like he's an outcast. He's going to feel like he doesn't fit in. He's going to feel like he doesn't belong, just like Barbie, until he gets to Eternia, where everything's going to click and he's going to feel right. And I bet the last 30 minutes of the movie is going to be in Eternia, while the first hour is probably Adam just soul searching himself with Tila on Earth, right? Like, that's probably what it's going to be. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a fun movie, but I have a feeling they're going to lean into that Barbie shit, which works for Barbie, right? But you cannot go into satire with He-Man unless you're just making a commercial or a skit. Because once you do that, the fans are going to be like, fuck you. Because I'll tell you something, we respect Robert Murray Burnett with all our hearts, but when he sat here and said that Masters of the Universe only existed to sell toys, we had to correct him, It's like, sir, that may have been why it existed, but that's not why people love it to this day. We love it to this day because you had some great storytellers get behind that show, and Lou Scheimer and all those guys over at Filmation who actually really, really imbibed them with life, right? Like, and made them come alive. Because before that, the mythos and the canon around He-Man was whatever you kind of wanted it to be. You could follow the comic if you wanted to or whatever. But once that happened, once, you know, he pulls out that sword and says, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. You had every 3 and 4-year-old boy in America doing that.
Not just America.
And across the world eventually, right? So,
Yes.
Andre, go ahead. That's where you pick up, right? So there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's true. It's and that was everywhere, which is why this movie has the potential to be really, really huge. Although I would say it comes out at least 10 years too late. I mean, really, they should have had this in the early 2000s. Now is when we should be getting the reboot to it, not the first iteration, and certainly not the satire, which it halfway seems like is what they're doing here.
I mean, this almost feels like it's an offshoot of the Barbie versus He-Man script. I don't know if you guys remember that, but we reported on that years ago. There was a Barbie versus He-Man or Barbie meets He-Man script that was in the works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would want to see that?
Yeah. They never got really far on that, though. But yeah, and you are, of course, 100% correct on that. And the problem is, I don't think it has so much to do with Barbie as it does someone is trying to pay tribute to the original movie from 1987 and doing inversion of that. I think that's more so to blame than
That could
Barbie.
be.
Yeah.
But that's stupid, and that's why they shouldn't do that, because that's kind of the whole point is, to me, what worked for Barbie was when Barbie was in the Barbie world, right? Yeah, when she came to the real world, it was okay, but that's when the movie started falling apart. To me, all the humor, what you want to see with the girls, the women, I should say, were attracted to about the film is that when they saw that trailer, and that's the first thing I said after I saw that trailer, it's like, now if they could do this for He-Man, let's go. But I didn't mean the satire. I didn't mean the goofy off-kilterness. I just meant paying that attention to detail. And what I mean is when you go into Barbie's world in that movie, the set design and all that kind of stuff is brilliant. It looks just like you walked into Barbie's dream house, right? Like it's come to life. And that's what we want as Masters of the Universe fans. We just want to see on screen He-Man and Skeletor and Battle Cat looking like the toys, right? Like that's what we want. If anything, that's what the Revelation and Revolution got right. And that's one thing I think Andre and I agreed on was the look. It was like, okay, now you've finally got the look right. Because as much as I love the 2000 series, I always thought the design was just a little too busy, just a little too much going on there. But with that Revolution series, they got the right balance. They added a little bit more detail, but not too much, right? They still look like the original toys and the original characters from the cartoons, but they look cooler. They look a little bit more detailed, a little bit more realistic, but they're not overdone. And that's what I would love to see in a He-Man movie. Great design, a decent story that just, all it has to do is take place on Eternia. All it has to be is Skeletor's got something, he's going to take over Eternia. There's your story. There's your story. Well, how hard is that? Or like Andre and have said, just make the first 3 or 4 episodes of the 2000 series into a movie. It's that easy. So, but they're not going to do that here. And Jared Leto is not going to bail him out of this mess. That's for sure. But I don't know if you guys had anything more to say about it, but we'll probably go to the chat here soon.
I think that's pretty much all there is to say about it. At this point, we just have to see where they go with it.
Yeah, and speaking of Leto and his method, Dark King wonders if he will shred his face for the part.
Let's hope not. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, then we would have known when he showed up for Tron Ares, because remember the shooting is in the can. I'm sure he did so. Well, maybe he goes less method now. Maybe he learned from the backlash after Suicide Squad, because I think that they deliberately leaked the stories about how horrible he was to make people more excited about the movie and his interpretation for the Joker, and it backfired big time. So, yeah, maybe he's not going to do that anymore.
I think Tom's right. I think they probably learned the wrong lessons from Barbie. I mean, it was a huge movie and it did well. So why wouldn't you just double down on that? As a matter of fact, I could even see some internal struggle session about somebody saying, no, this is a different audience. This is a different IP. We don't need to do this. And they're like, hell no. Look at what Barbie, the numbers don't lie. We just need to repeat this formula. And I think that I worry that that's what's going to happen. And for some reason, I'm getting these vibes like it's going to be Will Ferrell, Land of the Lost type.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be even a callback to the memes, all the shit we know of. It's going to be, I have a feeling it's going to be so bad.
I hope not, but
you're going to get the laughing Adam meme. You're going to get all the gay jokes all throughout. The only thing that's going to be probably funny about this is Jared Leto will probably be in a completely different movie than everybody else. That's probably what's going to end up being hilarious about this whole thing. Is that Jared Leto is going to come in and he's going to deliver as Skeletor. And I bet we're all going to go, you know what? He actually convinced me he's Skeletor, but the rest of the movie is fucking shit. That's what I think is going to happen. That's my prediction right now. Because I don't think that he's the worst choice for the role. I just think he's the most benign choice for the role, if that makes sense. He looks like Keldor. That's why they picked him. Let's be real. You paint Jared Leto blue, give him a little mustache, he looks exactly like Keldor.
I think it's more a matter of his agent was able to calm the studio into thinking, oh, he's a huge star. He Sony, you worked with him in Morbius. Remember how awesome that worked out?
Well,
I think this is an agent com job.
I think you're right, and/or the deal was done before the allegations and stuff started coming out. Because as you reported in our more recent video, like it was in that article about him, like those allegations started coming out, and even Disney started to worry that more would come out, and then they didn't. So that's why they let him go on the press tour. So, this is the thing. This guy's, I hate using the term, but I said it last night. This guy's time's up, I think. It's not so, yeah, and it has nothing to do with his talent. It has nothing to do with anything other than the studios are not going to keep getting behind him if he's going to be a liability at this point. And that's kind of what he is. Let's be real. He's not Ezra Miller yet, but he's getting there. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but anyhow,
Destiny. I remember how they were praising Ezra Miller's Flash movie also.
Yes, they were. Oh, that I think got standing ovations as well, just like everyone.
He's the director is recently defending it.
Yeah. Oh, that too, huh?
He said, "Hey, the problem is nobody went to see it, and everybody's just jumping."
Bullshit, motherfucker! I saw that movie. I
saw it.
One of the worst superhero movies ever made. Anyway, Destiny Captain says Leto was good as the 118-year-old man in Mr. Nobody. Well, I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen Nobody, but I've never seen Mr. Nobody, I don't think. Snell's World says, as soon as I saw Jared Leto was in Tron and no Tron in the movie, I knew it would suck. Jared Leto won't be Skeletor, thank Frank Langella. I hope he does okay. I hope the movie's good. Like, I don't want to hope anything bad upon the movie. I would like a good Masters of the Universe movie that does well to reinvigorate the franchise. I just don't see it happening. I'm not going to put any bets on it, that's for sure. Then we got a few.
I'm going to be the
go ahead.
Contrarian and say that I'm not going to put any hate on Jared Leto in Tron, only because I think there's just so many other aspects of the movie that fell short. One of the reasons that you were tied and felt sympathetic to Flynn was that he was a human being that was brought into a digital world. So you are rooting for him. Then you were rooting for Tron because he was the product of a programmer who was trying to protect Master Control. I can't remember the overarching
Master Control. That's right.
Yeah, it's Master Control.
He was actually trying to prevent Master Control from being taken over by the bad guys, and this was an algorithm that he had created to do that, and that became Bruce Boxleitner. So you had a human who was in there against his will, trying to get his game back. Okay, I'm sympathetic with that. Here's this program that is designed to protect against the baddies who are trying to take over Master Control. Okay, I'm sympathetic for that. I didn't know why Jared Ares' character existed. Like, he had no reason to be there. And so I don't blame Leto for that, apart from the fact that he helped apparently produce the movie. he had. I did not. I mean, there was no emotional connection to us in the audience with any of the characters, especially the lead female character. You know, the one everyone calls the plank of wood.
I mean, although I don't disagree with what you said,
So let
Paul,
me-
I still think that there's some blame that does need to go on Jared, because he was the one who pushed this through.
But that's
This
not my
movie was-
point. No, I get that, and I mentioned that. Yeah, he pushed it through,
Yeah.
and therefore he should have known better that his character should have had
Right.
some kind of motivation that would let us connect him to us. But
Fair.
you know, he didn't have Tron's motivation, and he didn't have Flynn's motivation.
He was more like the new master control in the movie.
That's what he was. And then,
Yeah.
okay, why did he get to be the new master control? I don't care. Oh, he loses his master control title and it gets handed over to the bold black woman.
Can I go back to what what are you not blaming Leto for?
Well, his performance, like
Okay,
he had
you're
nothing to perform in the movie. Is my
you're
point.
Well,
absolutely.
I think we also
you're-
acknowledge,
Tom,
though.
Tom,
Sorry, Paulie.
get in there. You're absolutely wrong, Cheeto. Okay, a lead actor, which is the problem here. He's not a lead actor.
No,
You know, he's a great character actor. All right, he didn't give us anything,
but he had nothing
can't.
to base
he-
it on.
You can give us performance out of the crappiest scripts. You know that if you
True.
are a great actor, if you are a great movie star. De Niro has done it all the time. He's been in a lot of crappy films. He's always given me something. You can go down the list of different actors. That's all I'm saying. You know,
Sure,
it's like
I
he didn't.
agree.
It's like at least, and let me be clear too. None of these actors did that.
No, that's
Um,
true.
Maybe Jillian and Evan kid was trying to work with something, but you know, it was just so badly written. But the leads were horrific. They were absolutely wooden.
But
there's
what were they going to? I don't understand what it was that they were going. What their arc was. I didn't understand it. Like I don't
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
get it.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Well,
that.
this is what I was agreeing with too, Paulie, and I was saying
Yeah.
before is we've already acknowledged this, right? Like Tron was not the movie to make right now.
Well, that's
It's
another
10 years
story.
too late, 15
That's
years
another
too
story.
late. Again,
Yeah.
but that goes along with the whole thing of what you're saying, Paul. Is like you can't. Can you not blame Jared Leto for this? Yes. Why? Because Tron was the wrong movie to make. But at the same time, it could have been better. I think had it not had Jared Leto in it. I think there is an argument that Paulie is saying here that could be made. Like, had you brought not only back the original actor from Tron Legacy, who turned the job down, I guess, even because he probably was only offered a shitty cameo. Let's be real. That's probably what it was. If you didn't bring him back, you got to get somebody in there. Like, you know, we mentioned Keanu Reeves earlier. If you said Keanu Reeves is going to be in Tron, I bet you everybody like, wait, whoa, what? Excuse me? The Matrix is coming to Tron? Like, that would get people interested in going, maybe I should check this new movie out. See, and that's where I agree with Paulie as well, because Jared Leto's not going to sell this fucking movie.
No, I completely agree with it. But again,
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat.
And it's his fault for pushing the movie, was my point, is because Disney was pretty much ready to say fuck the movie, because I think it fell apart when Daft Punk broke up. Because from my memory, I've been trying to find the actual source of it. They had a production company, Daft Punk did, that I think they put together in like 2018 or something like that, and they were supposed to be one of the co-producers of Tron 3 until they broke up, and I think that's where the movie fell apart. But Jared Leto was a part of that version back then.
Right.
So that's the thing, is I'm trying to figure out why he was so, and the only reason he could be so intent on making this movie happen, this gets me around to my point, is he knew his career was coming to a close. He knew that he was getting boxed in here. He knew he had nowhere else to go. He's tried Marvel.
Well, then I would have fought for a
He's
better.
tried DC and all that stuff. Yeah.
I'm sorry. The script is the worst part of this movie.
I agree.
I think Keanu is kind of just as limited in his acting. You know, probably more
Maybe,
so
but he's a
than.
name, right?
No, for sure. But I'm thinking, and I'm not saying Gary Oldman should be in Tron. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that no matter the film, he's been in a lot of turkey films. There's always something interesting that he's doing.
Now,
with
if you
his
told me
character.
Gary Oldman's playing the new Master Control, Paulie, now I'm going, what do you mean?
Sure, but I think
Because he
I'm
can do
just I
something
wonder
like
if
that,
Chato
right?
gets my point. Is that
Yeah.
great actors, lead actors, leading men. They're always going to bring something interesting to where you're going to keep going. You're going to keep going, and whether the film is good or not.
Yeah, they can
And
elevate it.
he didn't bring anything to the table, in my opinion.
you could argue that Frank Langella elevated Masters of the
Yeah.
Universe.
Oh, he totally did. We only remember that movie now more. I mean, probably lovingly because of how good Frank was in the movie and how serious he took it. Because otherwise, the movie's a joke.
Listen, then I would have changed the tone of Tron Ares and turned it into a canon camp kind of Highlander kind of movie.
Yeah.
See, they had so many problems. Like there was that interaction where they're trying to make it 80s camp, situation, which was like over an hour into the film. It was like, what do we got here? I'm not buying any of this stuff. It was such a stupid ass movie.
Yeah, let's not.
That was the required homage to the original.
We're spending way too much time on this failure.
Yeah, let's move on
kind
here.
of thing. We were talking about Jared Leto and Masters of the Universe, all that stuff. But yes,
People
we do have
want
some
it.
other stuff to talk about.
It's all connected.
Yeah, we actually had some sad losses. Grimzilla says, "Rip Tamanobu." I'm going to probably screw this up, and I apologize. Itagaki, creator of Ninja Gaiden and DOA, the most censored Asian man in the West, for giving fans what they wanted, and rip Ace Frehley too. And also Hyper Guyver sends in some love for Ace Frehley as well. Thank you for that, Hyper. And Jason Webster also says, rest in peace, Ace Frehley. He will be greatly missed. And Andre, I sent you this news yesterday. It happened late in the afternoon. We heard that, original KISS member, rip Ace Frehley. So yeah, what's your feelings on this? Because I know you've more recently been kind of diving into KISS story. I have, of course, been a KISS fan for most of my life that I can recall. So
yeah, like I've only discovered KISS in like the last year and a half, where I like discovered their classics and start appreciating the likes of Ace Frehley. Like I always confused Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley, which I know is ridiculous for those who know, but yeah, I thought that Ace Frehley was the guy with the star in his face. But so that's how wrong I was. But he was most decidedly a talent. A little bit troubled, which is why he was no longer in KISS from 1980 onwards. But again, really a talent. Like, look at the solo albums, and his was the best one. He even had like a great solo album, or pretty decent solo album, come out like 1 year ago. So he was working right up until the end. Tremendously underrated artist, part of musical history. A little bit troubled on the personal side. Some weird attitudes here and there, but I mean, it's part of the package. She embodied sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Let's put it that way. So
yeah. I mean, I talked a lot about him last night, so I'm not going to go on too much. But he was a musician's musician, and probably one of the most prolific members outside of the band. I mean, Ace. I mean, between the albums that they did together in the band and the stuff that he did afterwards, I mean, he's probably the most well-known of the group, I guess, in a way, outside of Gene. And in that respect, I mean, Gene and Paul were always the mainstays. And of course, Ace isn't the first member of KISS to die, but he's the first original member. So it's sad. And it's like, what's even worse is that I guess he died from a fall.
yes.
Yeah, so that's even sadder, but he will be missed. Now, Paul, and I don't know if you ever were a fan of KISS or not, but
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's interesting. So KISS went through a metamorphosis. They were part of my life when I was at university, and they were a very hip group. They weren't like, I don't think they're considered hip for the longest time. They kind of became cartoonish, but they were kind of in the same milieu as Devo, that they were very avant-garde and viewed as crazy and super popular.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
And I don't think they were ready to split until they did the live album, and then they kind of caught on. I think their music was okay. It was unbelievably simplistic, so I wasn't into them from that perspective. I mean, I was much more interested in the Police and more complicated music than what KISS presented. But they were fun.
Yeah, Ace did more fancier stuff later, right? Like that's the thing is, and you're right, because like Kiss was basically like a manufactured group
Uh,
at the end of the day.
not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning, but at the end of the day, when they got their whole vision together,
Correct.
the songs are out there. Like they're kind of like AC/DC, right? You know what you're going to get. You're never going to deviate too far with a Kiss song. You're never going to get too much one direction or the other. It's always going to stay in that little kind of box. And that's fine because they promise the fans what they're going to get. You go, you get the same experience almost every time. And that's one thing my dad would always say too, is he's been to dozens and dozens of concerts over the years. The greatest concert experience he ever had was Kiss.
Right. I can believe it. Well, like Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper put on a good show.
Yeah. See, I would put Kiss more in their vein, but I see what you're saying with Devo as far as the avant-gardeness of their
They were at
original.
the very beginning.
Yeah.
Very avant-garde.
And there's another thing about Kiss that people don't know is how many other bands they got started. Like Gene Simmons was very instrumental in Van Halen getting going and all that kind of stuff. So, like, there's a lot of history has a lot of history.
Yeah, they weren't jealous of other bands that did well.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
So, which is something that most people might not have realized. Yeah, Gene Simmons. A lot of bands toured with them. Was it Deep Purple? No, some large.
I think they started with Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. Yes, they gave Black Sabbath a hand.
Or I think it was the other way around. Black Sabbath, I think, gave them a hand. But yeah, I think the tour started where the one was headlining, and then by the end, I think Kiss was headlining. But yeah, something like that. It's one of those. If it wasn't Black Sabbath, it was one of the others.
Yeah, they were a band that you did not want to open for you.
No.
And Kiss Army, make sure to get your merch.
Get Kiss Army.
Spitting blood, the costumes. Yeah.
Paulie, are you a Kiss fan? Did Ace Frehley's passing hit you pretty hard? Or
rest in peace. Was never really a fan of the music till later. But a lot of the kids growing up, my friends at the time were big time.
All right, what about you, Chris?
My next door neighbor really liked Kiss a lot. He had a few of the albums. I was fascinated with the just the showmanship, right? There was always, are they going to take their paint off, and are we ever going to actually see them? I remember that being a thing that they were going to reveal, and they would play around with it. They'd have images of the mask coming off, but it was the same underneath.
They did tour without their makeup.
They did eventually, didn't they? No.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, in the 80s, they were without makeup. And they also helped out another band, not worldwide, but certainly in South America. It was a band that was very inspired by Kiss, and who Kiss helped become huge in South America, and that would be Rammstein.
Oh, really?
Them in in the early 2000s.
Wow. Yeah.
I know that Frehley was, he was the guitarist, right? So he and founder, and I mean, if you want to go back and, I like the mainstream stuff they did, Shout It Out Loud, and I Was Made for Loving You, and
Party All Night.
They really only have mainstream stuff. That's the point, Chris. Like I was getting at, they're kind of like that's what I mean. They're like you can listen to all their albums, and they have like 40 albums or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm not even exaggerating.
They did some kind of concept album. I can't remember the name
of
it.
They did. The Music for the Elder. That's the one time.
Yeah.
And they fucked up there.
There is a song called Shock Me that Frehley actually sings on, and you really do. It's impressive guitar work. And it's interesting that he died from complications from a fall, because that song Shock Me is him getting shocked on stage, some sort of injury on stage. And it's it's him singing, and it's him playing, and it's, they all did their little solo albums too, which I think was interesting. So Kiss was, even though the music wasn't that complex or groundbreaking, I think they were really made a name for themselves with some of the different tricks that they knew.
On the music side of things, you can even if their claim to fame was just doing the anthem Rock and Roll All Night, right?
Yeah.
Even if that's all they did, if they were just one hit wonder, that's enough. They have done
Agreed.
So much other shit. Like you can
agreed.
say what you will about Kiss and their corporateness and the way that they're manufactured and all that business, it doesn't matter. There will always be Kiss. See, and that's what Paul and Gene have made sure of. There will be Kiss until the end of time. We're going to have several different guys always coming in and being Kiss, because that's the beauty of the makeup, and the whole point of the characters is that anybody can basically be Kiss at the end of the day when it's all said and done. It's kind of ingenious how they were able to set this up and move it forward, because like they almost lost it, because that's what Andre's talking about is when they did the unmasked stuff. Sure, it was like, yeah, they got a boost again, and people were paying attention, but that's just because they were taking the masks off. Right. Then once the makeup was off, they only had one decent album. The era without the makeup is one of the worst eras for Kiss.
What, you didn't like Lick It Up?
I like them.
Okay,
it's on the right now.
I love their music of that era.
Lick it up.
Hot in the Shade to Lick It Up to, even Revenge has some great stuff on it, but it wasn't until they put the makeup back on that they started becoming Kiss again. Because by the time they get to Revenge, they're kind of like, oh, they're Kiss. They're trying to be Kiss still. It's like, yeah, those guys are still at it. They had to re-embrace what made Kiss Kiss.
Right.
Before they became
Well, that's
Kiss
why everybody
Kiss.
liked them. Yeah, let's go back to what worked. This Fractured 01 is talking about a McFarlane Kiss cover.
Oh, the one where they gave, or is that a new one, or is that?
Well, Marvel Comics
it's
did
the
one
old
in
one.
The original one
'77.
with the blood. I wasn't sure if McFarlane
That
was
one was
available.
the
No,
one
that
with
was
the
the
blood.
first one. The one with the blood, that was like Marvel Comics Super Special Issue 1. That was like the first Kiss comic. It was
What a
far
name!
from the last.
What an accomplishment!
Okay.
Yeah, and there's been a ton of different Kiss comics from then, from a variety of publishers.
And they had an animated show.
What?
That's
they had a
news to me.
cartoon.
I did not know this, Paul.
Yeah, they had
But they had a bunch of comics that I know.
Yeah.
They had a
Different runs
cartoon.
from
Never seen animated
IDW,
Kiss.
from Dynamite.
They had I remember that cartoon for a minute.
First
Okay.
comic they ever appeared in was Howard the Duck, as a matter of fact.
That's right. They did a cameo there. First, it was a cameo in Howard the Duck, and then it was Marvel Comics Super Special.
Yeah, well, it was the same year.
Howard the Duck, the
right.
movie?
it's all
So
part of the
Howard's
movie.
their
It was a
manager.
comic.
That makes sense.
That's right. It's perfect.
Howard the Duck, the comic. It like towards the end of the initial run, they made a cameo there, and then
Howard
it was
the
Marvel
Schmuck.
Comics Super Special. Yeah.
When I first had a record player, I owned, or my mom would buy me the K-Tel,
Right.
albums, collected hits or whatever. Right.
Canadian
I
product.
loved them, but I remember the first Kiss song I ever heard on one of them was not the right introduction for Kiss. It was that song Beth, sung by the drummer.
Well, what's sad is that's their biggest hit. Yeah.
It is their biggest hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Proving
Well-
that all these heavy metal acts, you got to do a ballad. You got to do a ballad. Yeah.
You were
what's
Metallica.
funny-
It's the same deal. Like their biggest, most commercial song is "Help Me Out Here." The name
Is it
of
Nothing
the
Else
song.
Matters, or is it
Exactly, nothing else
Yes.
matters. That's what I meant. Yeah, and that's their ballad, and it's the one song that's kind of like off from all the other songs of the Black Album, and it's their biggest hit by far. I mean, you
Same
still
thing
have
with
that song on the
Foreigner.
radio in my neck of the woods.
Same thing with Foreigner. Like all their great tunes, and the biggest hit they got is that I want to know
Urgent?
what love is, or whatever. No, it's I want to know what love is, or whatever. That fucking
Yeah,
ballad. It's
You
on
know
like
why
all
that
the
is, though?
collections and shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's why the movies try to put the girl boss in, right? Because look, we already got the guys for this, so we already got the Metallica fans. Now let's let their girlfriends enjoy.
Well,
And that's why Beth was a huge hit.
That's
You're
I,
not
I,
wrong.
I think what it was is that you have female and male fans of bands like Metallica, but let's say you hook up, decide to get married, and you love Metallica. At least you have a wedding song.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Nothing else
totally.
matters.
That's right. Like Journey. We're both Journey fans, and at least we have one Journey song
Weirdos.
that is our wedding song.
What
I'm a
is it?
Kiss fan, so maybe at my wedding it'll be "I was made for love."
There you go.
baby.
Yeah, that's
You
perfect
were
wedding song
made
right
for
there.
loving me. Kiss and
And
Disco. Funk.
tonight,
okay.
I
I
wanna
want to give it all to you. Probably one of their best songs
So-
too.
so
That's the
if you're a
sad
Public
part.
Great,
Enemy
too.
fan, what's their wedding song?
Who?
I
Sorry.
want to know what
Enemy.
your Journey wedding song was, Paul.
Yeah, what
One
was the Journey
Journey.
one?
Well, I
Don't stop believing. No, that's too new. Journey for you, it had to be Open Arms, probably.
When the
or,
lights go down
no,
in the
probably not.
city.
he doesn't even remember. He's sitting there trying to remember which one it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
come
gonna have to ask the wife. You watch.
We did have a song. I'm trying to remember what it is.
He
I know my
doesn't
songs.
remember.
I know my 2 songs.
43 years ago, Tom.
Yeah, chill out,
Wheels in
Tom.
the Sky. That's what it was.
Damn. Like a Nat King Cole over there.
No, it wouldn't be Nat King Cole.
I think it's probably for Arms Wide Open or
No, it was Electric Light Orchestra song.
oh, you said Journey. You didn't say
No,
ELO.
no. I said if a couple was a
Oh,
Journey
okay.
couple, then at least they have a ballad together.
Okay. Like
I
who's crying
misheard you,
now?
Sorry.
Who's crying now? That's
Yeah,
a
who's
good-
crying now? That's a great song. Yeah, let's do that one. That's as bad because you mentioned the Police earlier, Paul. That's what's funny is you know the song "I'll Be Watching You," right?
Oh yeah. That's
That was the biggest wedding song of 1986 or
Really?
whatever, and most
That's
people didn't
creepy.
realize what the fuck it was about. It's like you guys know that is about a stalker, right?
Every breath you take. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Well, everyone,
anyway.
lots of, I mean, the misconstrued songs that have been used for commercials. Yeah, Carnival Cruise Lines used Iggy Pop song, which was about heroin.
Well, they still do that.
Oh, night.
Mm-hmm. They still
So-
do that.
Well, they gamble on
Well,
like
got it.
vibe and people not knowing. That's like
Right.
important factors because if people actually knew, I mean, half of the most successful songs of all time that are like humble stuff wouldn't work anymore if you really knew what they were about. So yeah, I don't
You'd
blame
be
them.
surprised how many songs are about masturbation.
Oh, hey, no doubt. That's my favorite category.
Like bop. I mean,
Beat it.
Turning Japanese. Let's see. There's at least probably a half a
Blister
dozen
in the
other.
Sun.
Dancing with myself.
Dancing with
Blister-
myself. Yeah.
Blister in the Sun.
Blister in the Sun. Yes, Paulie. Absolutely. Yeah.
Let
Ow.
me go out.
Paul, my wife and I saw Jeff Lynne in concert last year.
Purple Rain.
I bet if you can't remember that ELO song, maybe it was Mr. Blue Sky or Rain is Falling or something like that, because those were nice songs.
Yeah, no, Jeff Lynne
Mr.
was
Blue
great.
Sky might be a little too upbeat though for a wedding song.
Yeah. Hello.
Purple Rain. Yeah.
Maybe Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I think.
Oh,
I mean, Prince alone had a lot of
If-
jack off songs.
you know, I was gonna say if Prince didn't actually spew Purple Rain when he came, I think I'd be disappointed. Like
Ew.
now that I'm thinking about it.
The coolest thing was when Prince had a Toronto girlfriend, and in Yorkville, if you're walking along and you go to one of the jazz bistros and you go in for some food or coffee or something, and you sit down, and then suddenly you're looking at the band and you're going, that's Prince. And he's just sitting in playing jazz.
Yeah.
That was a very cool era in Toronto where Prince would just suddenly show up out of nowhere because he's just hanging out.
Yeah, he was a great musician. Incredible.
Oh my God.
I've
Yeah,
seen him a
one of
couple
the-
times live.
Yeah, and one of the people where one of the guitarists there's a certain class of guitarist where the guitar seems to be fused to the person, and you can't really discern any kind of instrument or difference. Jimi Hendrix was like that too, where it was just part of was just another appendage, right? I mean, the instrument just played itself in their hands. Yeah, he's missed. Prince, I think, is a missed musician.
He's amazing. If you have not seen the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tribute to George Harrison, where
my guitar
Prince
gently-
comes, he comes out and just destroys, absolutely destroys.
Yeah,
And it's a shock too, because I think that's Tom Petty and Jeff Lynne and
Mhm.
George Harrison's son are all playing. They're doing just a
mhm.
tribute, and then all of a sudden, My Guitar Gently Weeps, and Prince comes out, and it even does. He was a showman too, much like Kiss, and does that one part where he's turning around with his guitar and just falls backwards off the stage, and his guy's there to stand him up. I mean, it is amazing, amazing. Best 7 minutes you'll spend today is watching that.
Well, of course, also to the Super Bowl performance.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking about that. Kiss never played the Super Bowl, but they did like the 1999 pregame show. But when you guys were talking about Purple Rain, the best halftime show, I will say the only one that comes close is probably U2 in 2002, right after 9/11 happened, and they did that beautiful tribute of all the names of the people who had gotten killed in the Twin Towers. They had these big screens that went straight up, and it just had all the names going really slowly. That was beautiful. But for it to rain on Prince while he's doing Purple Rain, and they're still just knocking it out of the park. Incredible. The Foo Fighters did a great show too, and they covered Prince in their show. And I read where Prince was talking about watching the show. He was totally like he didn't even know they were going to do that cover on their Super Bowl show.
Remember when Bowie died? Prince covered Bowie because he was like in the middle of a live set.
Never saw that.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
If you look it up somewhere,
yeah. I'm curious how Prince thought about it though, because I know he's not a big fan of when people do covers.
Apparently he liked it. It was,
I was gonna say very rarely is he a fan.
Yeah, I can't remember. And of course, I'm hearing that from Dave Grohl. I don't know. I didn't hear it from Prince himself. But
well, D'Angelo, who also passed away this week.
Yeah, we did lose D'Angelo.
D'Angelo did an amazing Prince cover of "She's Always in My Hair."
That was cancer, wasn't it, Paulie? D'Angelo.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yes.
One of the
Yeah.
best covers was Hart doing Led Zepp at the Kennedy Center for the band for Led Zeppelin and they were crying watching Hart doing Stairway to Heaven, and then the curtain opens and there's a full choir.
But yeah, really quickly, D'Angelo, I think was 51. Rest in peace, and he won Grammys. He was amazing talent. Very, true original artist, musician. And that cover he did of "She's Always in My Hair." I don't know if you guys know that Prince song, but it's an amazing live cover.
Well, I'm waiting for the first AI band to get inducted into the Music Hall of Fame.
It'll happen sooner than later, but yeah, Ace Frehley will be missed, and
so long, Ace.
Yeah. Marco sends in £5 and says the sadistic side of me would love to see Campia on yours, Nerdrotics, etc. channels and see him explode sitting with people with differing opinions. Well,
we'd
I
love
don't
to
think he
have
ever
him,
would.
so he'd be welcome. As would anyone of similar stature on the other side of the fence, so to speak. We don't shy away from a good debate. I'm not sure he would want to be seen here, but
I think that's the problem.
Yeah,
I think that's the latter. Is he just wouldn't even acknowledge.
I don't want to platform you.
Yeah.
Chuck
Norris says, should Iger's replacement be announced soon? Well, we're hearing it might be a co CEOs this time out. Dana Walden, and I'm blanking out on the other guy's name all of a sudden, but that's the latest rumor. Unless anybody else.
And let's just assume that rumor is true, that we get a co-CEO-ship. Would you guys be happy with that? Would that be what's needed to bring Disney forward?
Can't get any fucking worse.
It's the whole culture.
It can always get worse.
I know. I'm waiting for you to say that. What were you saying, Chris?
It's the whole culture over there. A new CEO, unless they're willing to fire a whole lot of people or bring in a whole lot of people, nothing's going to change at Disney. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I think even if there's two of them, I think they're still going to be lackeys for Iger. What do you think, Chado?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Paulie? No comment.
He's busy having a stroke.
Who cares?
No, but actually, I have thoughts on that. I think it's a horrible indication that we are going to get two CEOs. You know why? Because that means no vision. You do not get a single person with a vision there. It is the most telltale sign that this is someone that has been appointed by the board and by Iger to continue his work, which is to work on behalf of the major big shareholders at the expense of all the other shareholders. To me, if that were to happen, it's the worst news possible, because that's kind of like saying Bob Iger's work is so important that there can be no one person that can possibly fill his shoes in doing the bidding of BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard as good as he does. So to make sure the smooth running of the company, there will now be two because Iger had a little bit too many independent thoughts. He bowed to a little bit too much independent pressure. So now we need two people to make sure they can be fully controlled and keep each other in check to run the company the way that BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street wants it run. That's what I see there. So I'm not excited at all. What the company needs is a hatchet man, ideally from outside of the company, who is not part of the Disney culture, to come in and cut off some heads, because that's what needed to turn Disney around. That only tells me that Disney isn't changing anytime soon. And that's a disaster, because to go back to what Mr. Brawley said earlier, I don't want to see Disney go under either. I want to see the company restored. I want the toxic people and toxic institutions that have hijacked and taken the company over and rotted it from within. I want to see that removed. I want to see Disney restored to the worldwide cultural institution it once was. Yeah, I know it's an American company, but that's the best of Californication, right? How that spreads across the world. Like the biggest market for Donald Duck isn't in America, it's the freaking Nordic region. We love that shit here.
Yeah,
I mean,
most kids don't know
there's
who
something
Donald is
universal
anymore.
about it, and it needs to be restored.
Yeah, most kids don't know who Donald is anymore. But no, I agree with the first part more so. I don't know about the latter part with BlackRock. That could be too. I just think it's more so Bob Iger's ego and his way of saying, no one person can do what I did. You need two. And I think that's what it mainly is. I could be wrong, but we don't know for sure yet what's going to happen. But I guess we'll see. But Hypergiver 2 says with $5, everyone forgets that Kiss was also the voice of Wild Stallions with God Gave Rock and Roll to You and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I didn't forget.
I honestly had no idea. As a kid, I loved that little piece of music. That's amazing.
I mean, the weird thing about it in the movie, though, is they don't actually lip sync to the song. So, yeah, that's the weird part. They're just playing along. They don't sing.
But they're too, after
was
6 months
Argent.
of practice.
Am I wrong? I thought that was
Argent did it originally, and there was another version by it's a Christian band. I'm trying to think of their name.
Oh,
but anyway,
not Striper.
No, but it's Argent was one of them that did
P,
it.
I think.
Yes, Petra. I think it was
Petra.
Yes, and then but I think it was what's his face who wrote the song. I'm trying to think of his name.
Okay.
Crap. Brian said it last night too, I think.
My favorite Christian band is I'd Like to Bang Jesus.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Finger Bang? There you go. That's your favorite one.
My favorite song is Jews in Space.
Jews in Space.
Yeah.
Because the weird thing about God Gave Rock and Roll to You too, which is actually what it's called on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, is it's actually like a rewrite of the song.
Okay.
So they call it 2, right? It actually has the Roman numeral 2 after it.
Got it.
Because they are a little different. So if you hear the original version, the Petra version, and then the Kiss version, there are some differences between them. But yeah.
The second Bill and Ted movie was way better than the third.
I agree in some ways.
I barely remember. I don't remember those movies.
The third film was a disappointment compared to the first two, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Very underrated.
Check your private chat, Tom.
The second one's amazing. Yeah.
The performance of what's his name as the devil or the evil guy in the white face was just fabulous. Bill, or was it? No.
The diddler.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Wild Stallions.
Wild Stallions. That's right.
I saw Guns N' Roses, Living Color, Guns N' Roses, and Rolling Stones at the Coliseum.
Wow.
In 88 or 89?
Wow, the real Guns N' Roses.
Wait. Rolling Stones and Living Color I can see, but who else?
Guns N' Roses.
They were Guns N' Roses.
Wow. The reason, the reason Living Color was touring with them was because Jagger had produced their record.
Yep.
Well, that would explain it.
And what's his name? Axel ran around the whole track. That's when he was in shape.
He doesn't look like he runs around tracks anymore. No.
I saw
1988, dude.
Twice. One time Stevie Wonder opened for them. And the Steel Wheels tour, no one opened for them. But Stevie Wonder just completely blew the doors off of the Rolling Stones when I saw
I believe it.
I got one better for you. I
saw Steel Wheels. They had an opener.
My first job was I was a food runner at a jazz club in Santa Monica called At My Place. And there's a dinner theater environment, dinner setup environment to watch. You can watch bands. When we say jazz club, I mean they had everyone from Billy Vera and the Beaters to just all these different types of touring bands. And Stevie Wonder went up there one night and performed.
Wow.
And it's a club, it was oh, and I don't even think I was 16 yet. I used to watch, got to see a lot of great music there.
Oh, the good old days.
Yep.
Jason Webster says, I really, really love Japanese metal and steampunk metal bands, Band-Aid and Fate Gear, and folk rock metal group Wagaki Band. Well, there you go. I don't know if you're into the K-pop thing, but this is something I wanted to address real quick before we go. Well, let's get this first. Greedy Delver sends in $2 and says, best wedding band is Chicano Batman. Is that a real band?
They broke up, I believe a year or two ago. They were on the verge of being like the next big, like Santana experimental band. Great musicians.
That's too bad.
The lead singer went a little cuckoo during COVID.
Yeah.
I love some of their songs.
Led Zeppelin, I always enjoyed.
They were so big. They were at that point. They were opening up for what is it? Jack Black. No,
the White Stripes.
The White Stripes. They did a big tour of the White Stripes.
Wow.
Chicano Batman.
Not the other
Dead Zeppelin or Dread Zeppelin?
Pardon me?
Paul, did you say Dead Zeppelin or Dread Zeppelin?
They did all the songs, they covered all the Led Zeppelin songs, but in reggae.
No, that's Dread. That's Dread Zeppelin.
Dread Zeppelin, sorry.
Yeah.
That's
I'm missing a letter.
That's okay. Because I bet there is a Dead Zeppelin out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a big difference there. But since we have Paul still here.
One letter is a big difference.
People in the chat are saying Red Hot Chili Peppers, they suck live.
Really?
I've heard that.
I've seen them live. I haven't seen them live, but I've seen live performances, and they sound good live. So I guess maybe it's their
mix
setup.
the sound though. You can mix the sound.
I was gonna say, maybe it's the setup or whatever. But I want to get this story real quick. It's our last story of the day because Paul, actually, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and I thought you had a great idea, and I think we were waxing about this. So I don't know if Netflix has been listening to you or not, but they are now looking at getting into theaters. Did you see this? They have made a deal now with AMC. And now, Paulie, I'm sure you're aware of this, and Chris, and I don't know if Andre's heard about this yet or not, but it's going to kick off already in October 31st with a re-release of the K-pop Demon Hunters movie. And then AMC and Netflix have said they're very excited to see how this new relationship works out. And I think you kind of called this in a way, Paul. Now, this isn't exactly what you had said.
Yep.
I think that might be the next step eventually. But I'm curious how this is going to go, and I'm curious how you feel about this. I don't know if you heard about it, if you need more filling in or not.
I mean, I read the stuff that you floated towards me, and I went, yeah, clearly they're ripping me off. But
exactly, they stole your idea.
But it makes so much sense. I actually think. I mean, my premise was that it was better for Netflix to control the distribution as opposed to just throwing it out to the regular theater chains like another movie. This makes the Netflix stuff special. The other thing that I mentioned is that it should be tied to their subscription service, that if you are a subscriber, and we'll see whether they do this or not, is that you should get a discount to go to the theater to watch a Netflix movie. And if you don't have a subscription, whatever you paid towards watching the movie could be a discount towards 6 months worth of discounted Netflix. I mean, this again is the Apple Store model. Everyone said the Apple Store was going to be a complete failure, but because regular stores were not supporting Apple products, Apple had no choice but to create their own stores. And we know that the Apple stores are not a failure at all.
Right.
So I'll see how they execute this. But if all they're doing is showing Netflix movies in a theater, I think that's okay. But I think they need to get some synergy.
I think you're right. And I agreed with you because I said, I think the better move would be to not even, if you have a Netflix subscription, you automatically get in for free.
Oh,
that's what I would do. Yeah. And not only that, because that's where the money is. It's not in the letting the folks get to see the movie for free. It's in the popcorn, the merchandise, all the food, all the other amenities that go along with it. And Netflix has got it made in the shade because they're not out anything. You're 100% right. The overhead to put these movies out there is basically what they're already spending on the advertising to put them on Netflix.
Right.
So there's no lose for them. They're just got to buy the properties and or make a deal with people like AMC and make this shit happen.
Did AMC go back on not having K-pop again in that weekend because they didn't?
That's
want
what this
that?
whole thing was about, Paulie. I think they made a deal now, and I think Netflix is exclusively going to work with AMC. Now, this is where I feel like this is going to put a hiccup, but I think it's a step towards what Paul is proposing because I think that's where their initial. Because if Netflix is going to get into theaters, Paul's right. They're not going to want to dick around and play the same studio game everybody else is. They already reinvented the rental game. They want to reinvent everything. And I think Paul's 100% right. Take your Netflix stores, combine them with theaters, boom. You got Netflix theaters. Netflix found a brand new revenue stream. And you know why this happened is because when they put K-pop out there, they got a huge fat check for that weekend. They're like, fuck, look at this.
18 million.
Netflix is used to living, Netflix is used to living hand to fist when they work with the money they get from their subscribers and what they pay out for licensing fees and the stuff they produce themselves. So like they are always constantly running at a loss or whatever is supposedly what I've heard. But
what's the big one right now that they're pumping up that's actually in physical theaters right now is Frankenstein, and it's going to open up to even more theaters. Guillermo del Toro posted yesterday, so this is all happening for a reason because the thing has been in the past couple of years is that Prey was a great film, Pinocchio was a great film. Why wasn't it in fucking theaters? Predator Badlands is coming out. There's a double feature that they're selling right now. You go watch Prey and then Predator Badlands. I mean, Netflix could help save the movie theater going experience.
Well,
I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's carry on, Paul. Your point first.
I was just going to say, even the movie with Keira Knightley, I saw the trailer for that, which is Passenger in Cabin 10. I went, that's a pretty good trailer. I went, okay, I get the premise. And she's a good actor. And it felt like, oh, that's something that would probably play in the theaters pretty well. It looked great. So that's the Netflix.
Romy saw them. What did you think about it?
Yeah. But beyond that one movie, there's a significantly larger story here. And someone else has been calling this, not specifically this one story, but something in this general vein. And that would be you, Tom, because I remember during the lockdowns, we worked on a video on physical media and theaters, and you said something that I didn't understand at the time. Like, I believed you, but I didn't quite understand it. And that was, you said that Hollywood needs the theaters more than the theaters need Hollywood.
Yep.
And to me, that didn't really make sense at the time. But of course,
because theaters existed before Hollywood. That's the thing most people don't understand.
And what we're seeing right now, this whole deal, this is a testament to the absolute and total failure of Hollywood to produce movies that engage the audience and actually make the audience come to theaters. That is why AMC's theaters are doing this with Netflix. I guarantee you it's because they are not getting the content they need from Hollywood to fill theaters. AMC, they may not need Hollywood, but they need audiences to show up for the theaters. Hollywood won't provide. Well, they go to Netflix and have Netflix stuff put into, or HBO, or whoever.
Taylor Swift, I was just going to say, right? Like, because that's where part of this model comes from is there. And this is where I bring Paul into this is because I think AMC is scared that Netflix is going to do exactly what you just said, Paul.
Build their own.
They're like, oh no, we don't want that. We'll get involved with you.
Yes.
The last thing we want is you owning fucking theaters.
That's correct.
Yeah, and Fathom Events, they've set the tone for the retro 40th anniversary. Back to the Future is coming up.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Fathom Events, they've got that thing.
Right.
Like
But I think it all
set up and
I think it's all connected to give people great movies in the movie theaters, guys.
Well, that's part of the experience, right? And that's what I was saying is like, okay, and Andre's right. Modern movies are not bringing folks into the movies, but the Taylor Swift thing will. The K-pop Demon Hunter sing-along thing will. Why? Because the kids get to play along with that. That's why Minecraft was so popular. It not just was it their own thing that the kids had that was something theirs. There was an interactivity to it that we didn't understand. Right.
And there's another one that you guys have not brought up.
Go for
Netflix is an investor in Demon Hunter.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and Demon Slayer. Sorry. And,
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
And
So
that's killing in the theaters.
that's
too,
killing. So
Mhm.
Maybe if they had more of a tie-in with Demon Slayer in the same vein as this deal looks like it's going to play out, that would have been even better for Netflix.
You know, back when Happy Gilmore 2
Yeah.
came out, we had talked about this a little bit, that Netflix was missing out on having like a QR code at the end. Click now for 30 days free of Netflix or something like that.
And let me add something else from just a not stylistic, but I'm just going to use that word because I can't think of another one. But maybe Happy Gilmore 2 is too cheesy, too cheap to be quote unquote a legitimate theatrical release. But I would go to see it at the Netflix theater to see it big on a discount. Just
I agree.
I got you. Yeah.
Do you understand my point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even at the same time, I think Happy Gilmore got even like when we saw the numbers on that, because it was the biggest thing that Netflix had done to that point, I guess, streaming wise. Even if half of those people went to see the movie in theaters, hell, even if a third of that people, we did the math on it, and it was somewhere around $100 million opening weekend. So here's the thing that I think theaters are scared of, or they want to get involved in, and where Netflix knows they've got the numbers, but they just got to find a way to plug that in, right? And this is where Amazon, they went and bought MGM because they wanted to have a studio name that they could put on, their theatrical releases, because they wanted to get in the theater game. And I've said there's the smartest ones right now, because they know that there's different revenue streams that can be made here. And if anything, the theatrical release of these streaming movies is nothing more than just, advertising for them. Sure. Right. So like, even going back to like Beverly Hills Cop 4, I hated that movie, but I still couldn't understand why Netflix and Paramount didn't put it in theaters for at least a month or two before they put it on streaming. If you had put Happy Gilmore on theaters for a month, can you imagine the amount of money they had when made? Then
it would have made money, Chato. Absolutely.
Yeah. I completely agree. But my point is that Netflix can turn the theater experience into a Netflix party.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
my point.
Well, I agree with you. And I think that's going to be, maybe if they ever get to that point, that'll be part of the gimmick. Because I think that what your proposal, I think Netflix had already thought of that. And that's probably what scared AMC. Right. And that's probably what kind of put this deal in motion. Or if not, AMC assumed the same thing that you brought up, is like
one of you.
And here's another.
Netflix already had theaters.
Here's another great thing about Netflix is that they have these deals with these big stars to do movies just for them. The majority of them are debuting, on Netflix streaming. They got this great deal with Guillermo del Toro, and those movies, whether you like them or not, but they just need to be seen cinematically. And Adam Sandler too. He's got his following. Absolutely.
Well, some of his other films I wouldn't have said, but I think it was a mistake for Netflix if they were going to do this thing. They should have kicked it off with like Happy Gilmore 2, and they need to expand beyond AMC, unless that's what, AMC is the biggest theater chain. So that's why they're doing this deal right now. But this is just one step, I think, towards a bigger picture that I think Paul kind of predicted with the whole, Netflix theaters. I think that's going to eventually happen. And what it's all going to look like and the innovation that they come up with, I think, is what's going to bring people into them. I think you're right. I think that's one of the places. That's one thing I've, keep nailing on the head, is the problem with Hollywood isn't just the movies. Yes, the movies have to be good too, but you also have to innovate and bring people in and let them know you're going to see something you can't see at home. Right. Well, that's where Netflix is going to have to get smart, and they're going to go, well, we're going to take the home experience, but we're going to bring it to theaters in a whole different way that you didn't understand before, whether it's in interactivity, whether it's something else, who knows, whatever it is they come up with, they got to come up with something. Cause that's what I've said, is it's been stagnant in Hollywood. We haven't had a new innovation for special effects since CGI, which is back in the early 1990s. We haven't had any new gimmicks or anything else to bring people into the theaters, sound or picture wise, outside of 3D, which is just regurgitating old technology. Right. So where are we now? 4K doesn't matter anymore. We can get 4K at home. None of that shit. Dolby Atmos, same thing. I can get it at home. Nothing I can go to the theater see. I can't get at home.
There's only one thing you can get in a theater that you can't get at home, and that's the communal experience.
Yeah, basically. And that's the thing. And that's where, Netflix doesn't have. Right.
And my point is, if they can re-energize just that and have cheaper ticket prices, logical ticket prices, I think that's all they need. Good stories, actors that we like, original product, not repeats of stuff, reruns of stuff. And our promise to you is we'll give you a good communal experience for this. For instance, maybe you even run a movie like The Queen's Gambit once a week. You run it, and you get the Queen's Gambit chess clubs all going crazy and having fun with the experience. It's the communal thing that will bring people in if they do it right. I don't think you need more than that. That's my.
Let me propose a possible way to do this. You make a movie, you put it in Netflix theaters for about 2 to 3 months before you put it on Netflix.
Sure. Yeah.
You didn't pick up that that's basically the old theater model.
Sure. Yeah.
Like they're just taking it back to the old basics. You don't get to see it right away on Netflix, but you can go see it in Netflix theaters exclusively for a month. Right? You want to see it first, go see it there. It's no different than it was with theater and video, right? You can wait for home video or HBO, or you can go see it in the theater now, right? It's the same fucking model we've had for 50 to 100 years now. Like,
Sure.
what the fuck's the difference? And I think that's where they're going to innovate this shit. I think you're right. The big thing is going to be them going, you can go see Happy Gilmore a month before you see it on Netflix in Netflix theaters.
Right.
Or they have some exclusive thing that you can only see in their theaters. Yeah.
It's the communal thing. We need a return to the communal thing. I think the converting from large ticket prices just to compensate for the fact that not enough bodies are going to a movie is an ongoing detriment and is going to make the entire theatrical experience fail.
I just like Chato's videos when he's walking out of a movie theater. He's always looks like physically he needs a stroller. He's having a hard time breathing.
He's trying to figure out what he just sat through.
Who am I?
But I think it would be hilarious if you walk into a Netflix theater and they're like, do you want your theater to have sticky floors or non-sticky floors? And do you want stale popcorn or non-stale popcorn? Like, let's give them the experience. Like, you get the choice of actually having the shitty theater experience.
Chato will always go for the sticky.
Paulie, just before I do those exit first impressions, I always take the oxygen tube out of my nose.
He runs up and down the hallway 3 times and then goes out and films.
I just imagine the managerial staff saying, "Who the fuck is this old dude?"
Dark King does point out that sometimes the community experience sucks. You know what? I agree and disagree with this at the same time. I think the modern communal experience sucks because people used to know how to behave in public.
But sometimes the homegoing experience sucks too.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Come on, guys.
But I think the bigger problem is people feel so entitled and they act the way they do, especially in public now.
No doubt.
That has made the problem exacerbated beyond anything the theaters or the studios can control at this point. Because as I've always said, the things that you hate about the theater, you can usually blame on the studios for squeezing the necks of the theaters, right? Popcorn is so expensive because the theaters keep taking more of the revenue. They can't afford to hire anybody because the theaters keep taking more of the studios keep taking more of the revenue. It's all come down to a point where they barely get a pittance off the movie. So all the money they make is on the popcorn buckets and the popcorn and the candy and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, they can't afford to hire 6 teenagers to stand there and do nothing. But I mean, frankly, that's another thing is the modern audience is a problem. That is something I've had a bigger issue with in the last 5-10 years going to the theater than the theater itself. There's so many times where it's a bunch of kids just yakking through the whole movie, or they got their phones out. They're not paying attention. It's like, why the fuck are you here? And like one I remember that was like one of the worst experiences was Stephen King's It. Because I had a running commentary from some teenagers behind me through the whole movie who clearly had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. And at one point I just wanted to turn around and go, look, if I wanted the DVD commentary, I'll just wait until it comes out. Like at this point, you guys need to shut the fuck up. But luckily somebody else told them to shut up, so I didn't have to. But like, yeah, that's part of the problem, I think, is that kids and everything like that act so entitled nowadays, and they got their phones out and they're doing what they're doing. It's like the me thing. Like we were part of the me generation. My generation is. I think Chris is close to that, or we're close to the same age, and Andre and I are too. So I mean, I get that to a point, but it's like this generation is even more like the me generation. Like they're even more egotistical about themselves and what they want to do with their daily lives. I could be wrong, but to me, that's one of the biggest problems I have with going to the theater. It's not the theater, it's not the workers, it's not the food, it's not the prices, but the other people that I have to deal with. That's what
I
me.
don't like is while I'm doing live commentary during the movie on my phone, the other people around me doing live commentary are too
Right?
loud.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Paul. They're fucking my commentary
I
up.
really
People are
don't,
horrible.
and all the other live commenters are too loud.
Well,
it's
yeah.
rude.
Kitty Bear says that everybody. Well, and that's the thing is, I think once somebody else does it, everybody feels entitled to do it.
Yeah. But speaking of feeling entitled, I mean, some of the panelists here feel entitled to leave.
Well,
So
we do actually have
have
one.
to-
We've got all our super chats here, basically. So I think we're caught up. If we want to just wrap the show up, I don't think there's any more stories unless you had any, Andre.
No, we don't. We don't. We are wrapping up.
Season
So-
3 of One Punch Man is not looking good. We're all really annoyed.
Well, how many times can he be punched when he's called One Punch Man?
That's right.
I'm
I will
not
say at home
explaining
when I have
some of the-
commentary, I
Tom,
just pause it.
I'm not
Pause.
explaining the premise of One Punch Man.
Fine. It should be in the title with these things. That's all I say.
It is. He's one.
I mean, when I see the title "Girls' School with a Tentacle Teacher," I know what I'm getting into.
Or Tron Jeremy.
Tron
Jeremy. I want Tron Jeremy now.
See,
All
I
the
do
light
my
fighters look
commentary.
like penises.
I do my movie commentary at home. I just hit pause and I say something. I'll say, over
Tron
to my
Jeremy.
wife, "Oh, what do you think of that?" She hates it. Do you think they'll let you have a pause button at the Netflix theater?
Maybe. No, the pause button is. I do
One
that.
person should get it. Like you could say, yeah, one person gets the pause
That-
remote.
It drives my wife nuts when I say, "Oh no, that thing that stole it from Eisenstein."
Most
All
of the
right.
time, we pause it when a mobile phone is on the screen and the protagonist is reading their phone or whatever. And it's like, I can't see that, so we pause it and walk up to the screen. You know,
You need a bigger TV, Chris,
Yeah, I
or
know,
better
sorry.
glasses. I mean, I got an 82-inch 4K TV. I can read everything.
55 inches. I know it's not big anymore. It used to be.
No, it's not. Nah, 55 is like
Mexican Iron
55 is the new
That,
25.
that's a small TV for the kitchen.
I'm
Yeah,
embarrassed.
Mexican
to
Iron Man
admit
has
it.
got a big
Yes.
TV.
A Mexican Iron Man had to get one that was just a little bit bigger than mine. Yes, he did.
Dude.
But with that, let's get out of here. Chris, tell us a little bit about Bleeding Fool and what you got going on.
Bleeding Fool, where all the cool kids are going these days for their news and entertainment stuff. We're talking about how Star Trek fans are getting roasted with Stephen Colbert. We dove in a little bit more about that feminist reimagining of the Count of Monte Cristo. We're examining the one battle after another fallout and how DC Comics is not worried at all that Superman becomes public domain in just a few years. So that's bleedingfool.com, at bleedingfool or at Chris Brawley on the X. Glad to be
Excellent.
here, guys.
Glad to have you as always. Chato, what's going on?
Nothing in particular. Coming up to a nice, relaxing weekend. If something pops up, I'll write it.
TV Guide video.
What? Oh, well, I am working with. Yes, I am looking at a very cool video that I'm going to be having a meeting with the writer director, the Unexpecteds,
Yes.
from producer Kevin Smith of all people.
I got you
Oh,
guys.
for fuck's sake.
I got you guys the movie link.
Yeah,
Is that
to
why
the
that
panel.
motherfucker unblocked me?
I don't see how they're connected. I'd be
Okay.
shocked.
I'd be shocked
But
too. You
he
know what's
just
not
came in as-
shocking?
yeah.
Listen, real fast, Tom. Alejandro made the film, and later Kevin Smith came in.
Oh, okay.
Has come in as an executive.
Well, maybe Alejandro got me unblocked as well. I was
Great-
thinking
great
when you brought
cast.
it up.
maybe.
Great cast. So I'm finishing the movie off and then arranging I don't do live streams, but I'm going to talk with Alejandro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And man, his movies are fun.
Well, if Alejandro's listening and he did get that to happen, cool. Thank you. And appreciate it. Not that haven't earned it or anything.
Thanks for poking me, Polly.
And
Yeah,
Paul,
no, I think you guys are gonna like it.
I love the preview of your Halloween costume. As you see this year, Paul is going as Hugh Hefner.
That's right. But in his Viagra days.
Yes, in the Viagra days. Viagra Hefner. Paulie, you got a show coming up here?
Later on in the day, there was a TV show 25 years ago called Resurrection Boulevard. It went on for 53 episodes on Showtime.
I kind of
And
vaguely remember it, but not.
yeah,
I
it was
never
about a
saw it.
Latino boxing family. Tony Plana, Cheech Marin. I mean, it was a mega cast. Elizabeth Pena, rest in peace. She was a big role in that. Anyways, they're doing a whole 25th anniversary kind of tour. I'm gonna have one of the actors come on, and we're gonna talk about the TV show. I got to rewatch the movie pilot, and it was just such a breath of fresh air that from 25 years ago. Like, shit, they can't make something good like this nowadays. So come and join me and check out that conversation on the Latino Slant.
Awesome sauce. And Andre, anything else we got to plug besides our video that we dropped this morning?
Yeah, we dropped a video earlier this morning. Do check it out on the humiliation of Jared Leto, which we spoke a little bit about.
Part 3.
The funny thing is that the humiliation isn't coming from us. It's coming from within Hollywood. So do check that out. Check back over the course of the weekends. I'm sure we're going to have more videos drop. And with that, it is time to bring out the koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala.